The James Show Podcast.
Because I read stories like what happened with this Lake Worth woman, and this sounds terrible, and it really seems like, I'm not trying to oversimplify things or be Mr. Reductive here. This seems like there's a real easy fix to this. It's like, oh, that's not what you normally say. You usually say things, there's a lot of layers or complicated. No, not really. Not on this one. And it really is a pretty simple story. A lady and her son and the dog went to the dog park, and some big pit bull broke away from their owner, jumped on the lady, and she was fighting for her life. She's on the ground. There's a lot of defensive wounds on her arms because the dog is trying to get to her face, but she's smartly covering her face. And it's sort of the scariest case scenario that you imagine when you hear about someone being attacked by a pit bull. It's the scariest case you imagine when you see a dog. When you're out on a walk and you see a dog that's not on a leash, you're like, oh my goodness, am I going to end up on my back trying to defend my face from getting tore up by some pit bull? Well, the owner comes over there, and okay, eventually the dog's off. The lady's going to live, but she does have to go to the hospital. She has some pretty big lacerations, which is just the Latinized version of cuts. She's all cut up. Some of it's on her face. These are nasty wounds. They had a picture of her when she was still in the hospital. She's out now. She was only there to get all stitched up, and they monitored for a minute, and then she got out within hours, from what I understand on the reporting from WFAA. But when the cops got there, the lady who owns the pit bull had the dog, and she was walking away, and she walked past the cops as they were going to help the lady that had been attacked by a pit bull. And, I don't blame the cops. They didn't know that she was involved in it, but she, made her immediate getaway. And then she's now on the run or on the lam. I feel silly saying that. I don't know if she's even run. She hasn't turned herself in yet. She has been recognized by her family members in the report that did go out on WFAA. So the family members have told the cops, we know who she is. This is our relative. And now they know who she is and where she lives. They went to go pick her up. She's not there. So police have identified the suspect, according to WFAA, 45-year-old Autumn Billings. Autumn, if you're listening to the show right now, turn yourself in, okay? There's nothing else that can be done, no advantage that can be gained. It can only get worse by you waiting. Do the right thing, turn yourself in. And then after that, you're no longer allowed to listen to the James Show. You need to turn this off, call the cops, turn yourself in, face justice, and you have a lifetime ban from the James Show. Well, pending your court case. If you're found innocent in a court of law, I have had to rescind James Show bans before. But here we have a lady that's all tore up. She has a broken forearm, dislocated fingers, a damaged artery. And the woman, Autumn Billings, is facing some charges, but these charges sound silly. Police have issued a warrant for attack by dog causing serious bodily injury. These pit bull stories come up quite a bit. And a lot of people say, well, it's not the dog, it's the owner. Well, part of it's the dog. Because even if you have a terrible owner, no one's getting their forearm broken because of a chomp bite from a Shih Tzu, are they? No, a toy poodle has never ripped anyone's face off. If a Chihuahua goes absolutely insane and has the worst owner ever, this lady doesn't end up in the hospital. So yeah, part of it is bad owners, but there's also the other part of it where I've heard stories, because don't call in with the basic stuff. You better have some second level thinking if you're going to call on this topic, because 23 years... this keeps happening. People with pit bulls will call in and they'll say, oh, I have a pit bull and we let my infants play with it. We had like 6 kids and it was so good around them, and he'd crawl all over them and pull their ear and the dog never did anything. Hey, that's fine. It's lucky it worked out for you. But to me, that sounds like you put a grenade on the coffee table and you're like, yeah, we've had a grenade on the coffee table for 20 years. No kids ever pulled the pin. No one's died from it. So it's totally safe. Well, no, that's worked out for you. But you know what other calls I've gotten? I've gotten the calls where people say, look, we knew what we were doing. Not only were we responsible pit bull owners, we were trainers. In fact, my husband's a vet. And so we know everything there is to know. There's no one who knows more about dogs than us. The people who go to the American Kennel Club dog show in New York City to have the dog championships don't know more about dogs than us. We did everything right. And we still had a pit bull just tear off one day and bite up my kid's arm. So I've heard all the stories. The part where you and I have a little bit of gray area to talk about is how do we deal with this? Because there's a lot of people who think, well, this is easy. Why don't you just ban pit bulls? No, that's not so easy. And a lot of people don't like that because you think in your head and you feel naturally just a visceral tie to freedom here. Like, wait a second, banning things. We're not for banning things. We're not going to, you can't even ban a dog breed. I mean, you could write it into law, but it's not going to stop it any more than it stops dog fighting, any more than it stops methamphetamines, any more than it stops trans people from being trans or gay people from being gay or there's just some things you can't legislate. It doesn't matter how illegal you make drugs. Hunter Biden's going to get high tonight. So it doesn't matter if you outlaw pit bulls. You're not going to get rid of them. They exist. They're on this planet. It's a genetic sequence. That's really out of your jurisdiction. What's my solution? Oh, my solution is real simple, actually. Right now, the owner of the dog, the suspect that the Lake Worth Police Department's looking for, Miss Billings, her warrant is for attack by dog that causes serious bodily injury. Now, I think dogs shouldn't be treated like their own entity. I think they should be treated just like any other property of the owner, and treated just like if Miss Billings had gone up to this lady and hit her in the head with a shovel and put her in the hospital. What would we charge her with? Well, at least battery, probably aggravated battery because you're using a weapon. If there's some malicious intent or reckless nature to it, maybe it's even attempted murder. That's what you do for dogs. That's exactly what you do for dogs. This isn't a charge of, what is this silly charge? Attack by dog causes serious bodily injury. No, this is attempted murder. You just hold the owner of the dog responsible as if the owner had done whatever danger it is to themselves. So if a dog goes and kills somebody, you just murdered somebody. And you're like, well, that's not fair. What if the dog, was properly pinned up and stuff and managed to get out or managed to slip out of its leash, slip out of its collar? It's still your problem. That's the problem of the owner. So that's what I think. It should be treated just like we treat guns, really. And it's not the dog. It's the person who's in charge of the dog. Now, you can still own a pit bull, and if you want to go put it in, some cave or some pit out in the middle of nowhere and it's never going to harm anybody, no harm, no foul, then you should have the right to do that. Your liberty should extend until someone else's nose begins. And since no one's nose got hit, you're fine. You're cool. So we don't need a ban on pit bulls. We just need to treat pit bulls like we treat any other property of the owner. And these little attacks right here, this is not attack by a dog caused serious bodily injury. No, this is attack by the human being that almost killed the lady. This could be attempted murder, at least aggravated battery. But you start putting real penalties on it, and you start seeing these people go to jail, and people will stop getting pit bulls. It's not worth it. In the off chance that something does happen, or it does freak out, or in the exception that proves the rule, is it worth going to jail to have that kind of a dog? I doubt it. This is Terry in Fort Worth. You're on WBAP. What's up, Terry?
Well, hi, James. And now that I've listened to you, my suggestion probably wouldn't work because I was thinking maybe some sort of licensing, $1 million insurance policy. But like you say, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it.
Yeah, well, I like the idea of, making people prove their proficiency and being insured in case something does happen. They have at least the full coverage of the liability or whatever. But you're still going to have some goober from the middle of nowhere right outside of Wilmer who's running the dogfighting ring. Yeah. And it's going to attack somebody. And, he didn't have a license. Oh, he didn't have insurance. Well, I guess that law didn't do anything to stop it. So
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And by the way, I love the hand grenade or the grenade analogy. That's perfect.
Oh, good, because I've used that for about 20 years now because I heard somebody else say it, and I thought that was clever, and I'm going to put this as part of my lexicon, and I wish I could give them credit.
I'm going to steal it, so thank you.
Do it, because I stole it too. Thank you, Terry. All right, this is Christine in Frisco. You're on WBAP. What would you do, Christine?
Hi, James. It's not so much as what I do. It's just what I say that we don't know how a dog's brain operates any more than a dog knows how we work. And so many people are so quick to analyze, my pit bull is great, my pit bull does this. We don't know. There's no Sigmund Freud of dogs, even though he was a rotten human being anyway. But that's just my opinion. We don't know what they're going to do. It's negligence on part of the person that owns the dog. There needs to be a level of caution with any dog. especially around people.
Well, so it's an animal, and it has the same fealties as a human being. You can train it perfectly. You can do everything right. And then every once in a while, it will just do something irrational, just like a human being. And so
I do it every day. Absolutely.
Right. So I don't understand what drives these people to get such a dangerous dog to begin with. And, I don't
think there's a problem with having that kind of dog. I think you need to be responsible. Don't take it to a dog park. Don't let it go off leash.
Well, I know. Look, I have an uncle, and I say uncle. He's a year older than me, so we're peers, and we hang out like buddies. But he has a pit bull, and look, I love the dog. Lana has always been good to me and whatnot, but it's always kind of nerve wracking. Like when I had infants and little kiddos, I didn't really want to take them to Uncle Joey's because he has Jesus perfect killing machine sleeping in his living room. And if that dude gets startled and, just decides to take a bite, or maybe it's having a bad dream, or maybe it freaks out or has a nom flashback or something, I don't know. But that's something that could kill my kid. And I don't have to worry about that with an orange tabby cat. I don't have to worry about that because I don't know what's going on in my dog's mind, but he's a little fat mutt. He's like a beagle mix. And you can tell by the size of his backside, he just wants food. That's all he wants. Maybe rub his belly.
I'm a Jack Russell terrorist, but but any dog. The human needs to be responsible, but we don't know what makes them turn on somebody. I've had the most wonderful dogs turn on people, want to rip their throats out.
Yeah,
golden retrievers that you would never expect that. Any dog. There's a level of responsibility from the human.
No, see, I don't have any personal experience with that or even secondhand experience with that. Like that's happened to one of my friends or one of my family members. But I have had quite a few people call in and say, listen, we were dog trainers. I remember one that was like, my husband's a vet. I'm a dog trainer. And we still had one tear up my kid's arm. So, yeah, it's just what a weird risk to take with your children and with the people around you. Andrew in Lake Worth. You're on WBAP. What did you see this attack? This happened in your backyard?
No, I actually did not see this attack, but I do not have a solution. But what I do know is that that pit bulls can be very territorial, and in Lake Worth alone, people there can be really, really sketchy. So I think it's depending on the person and the dog itself, because the dog alone can and will hurt you if you either bother it or if you're just standing there in its territory. And a dog park can be one of those things.
Well, you made an important connection there. What is with the connection between the pit bull dog breed and sketchy white people? What's going on with that?
Well, I'll tell you from firsthand experience. I worked at the Atwoods over there in Lake Worth, and we allowed dogs over there all the time. And but there was also, especially during now in the holidays, people would actually, especially white people, white homeless people, and a little bit of the Hispanic people, because Sansom Park is like right there. They would actually steal with their dog in hand. And I think that if this person who let the dog beat the woman up could be one of those people, just like not really caring at all about what the dog is doing to the person, But it's also what I think is that dog should have been put down by somebody else who could have been watching it. It's also one of the reasons why I think open carrying is one of the greatest solutions in this country, because if I see somebody doing that too, or seeing a dog doing that to somebody, you better damn sure know I'm gonna put a bullet in its head.
All right, and that's Andrew in Lake Worth. I appreciate you calling in, sir. That's all. It sounds like pretty solid advice there. But I appreciate the connection there, because is there anything sketchier than having a pit bull for your dog? Yeah, I just want this killing machine. I'm going to put it on a leash. We'll go for a walk around the neighborhood. It'll be fun. Well, why? Why do you need to do that? This is Misty in Weatherford. You're on WBAP. How would you fix this?
Hi, James. I just want to completely agree with everything you've said, and I have both sides of that story. My biological father raised pit bulls back in the 80s when they used to fight them down in Mansfield. Horrible situation. Grew up, 9 years old, down at a neighbor's house, just babysitting after school, was attacked by a mama pit bull, had to have cosmetic surgery on my face. But I have just like you said before, I have a toy Chihuahua, toy Fox Terrier. He loves my family to death. But I'm very, very cautious if he goes around any other children. It is completely my responsibility. I don't care the size of the dog. I understand certain breeds have more potential for that, but I am completely responsible for my little Chihuahua tearing a toenail off of a child just as much as a large dog owner is responsible for that as well. And that means any other pet in the home. So if my one pet attacks my other pet, that's my responsibility as well.
Well, listen, your point stands. Yeah. You don't have to exaggerate. We're not just as worried about Chihuahua bites as we are pit bull bites. Because if a Chihuahua attacks me, I can kick it across the room. I could kick a field goal with a Chihuahua. I don't know if I'd win a fight against a pit bull. And that's your point stands. It's just I am amused by the exaggerations.
But the Chihuahua can completely start off the pit bull. The pit bull could be as sweet as can be. My little Chihuahua is loving. I love him to death. He's my baby dog. But he will start a fight, and it gets the other dogs riled up. It's just one of those things. But, yeah, I agree. Any pet owner is responsible for their pet. I don't care if it's a snake that ate the neighbor's dog.
Yeah, I hear you.
It
really is that simple, isn't it? Why didn't everybody agree with us, Misty? We're so right on this one. Thank you very much. Keith in Arlington, you're on WBAP. What do you think?
Yeah, I was going to mention, because I did a lot of research on this over the years, and one of the biggest problems with banning pit bulls is a pit bull is not a breed, it's a type of dog. A pit bull terrier is a breed, but it's not recognized by the AKC. It's the American Staffordshire Bull Terrier is the actual breed recognized by the American Kennel Club.
All right. Congratulations, Keith. You know more about dogs than I do. But my point still stands, doesn't it?
No, it does. Well, the problem is, like I said, if you try and ban pit bulls, that includes boxers and Labradors, and there's hundreds of breeds of dogs that would be banned.
But I don't want to ban pit bulls, right?
Issue. No.
Okay, you're just arguing against other people. I thought that was addressed to me.
Yeah. No, not at you. And the other thing, I have a Anatolian Shepherd at home.
I don't even know what that is, bro.
Yeah, the problem. Okay, so a pit bull terrier has about a 290-pound bite force. Anatolian Shepherd has a 740-pound bite force. So if you want to talk dangerous dogs, it's there's a lot of different breeds out there, a lot more dangerous than a pit bull terrier.
All right.
So what I'm trying to say is, people are putting the focus in the wrong area.
All right, Dog Encyclopedia. You're correct, and you know more than we do, and we're all very impressed. Are you the kind of guy that tells people, a tomato's really a fruit? Are you that guy too?
No, mostly just dogs.
All right, fun stuff. Yeah. Thank you very much for calling in, Keith. This is Mike in Burleson. You're on WBAP.
Hello. I was just wanting to say it doesn't even have to be attempted murder. Accidental is the same thing. In biblical times, you had a bull that might have got out and killed someone. That bull had to be put down, and the owner was responsible with their life as well. So you had to make sure that that bull was properly tied up. And today, we don't have that. We got these dog parks, everybody runs loose, but they're not keeping an eye on their animals. So, yes, they need to be held accountable for that.
So what did you call the charge? What do we need to charge them with?
Attempted murder, yes.
Attempted murder? Okay. Well, it sounds like we're kind of on the same page there.
Accidental murder, either one, yeah.
Well, accidental murder, we call that manslaughter. I'm not a lawyer, so maybe I don't have my nomenclature perfect, but that's what I've observed is the term for that accidental murder is manslaughter.
Yes. Well, either way, it's murder, and God holds our blood as sacred, and if someone draws blood, then they need to be held accountable for it.
All right. Well, that'd be more fun if you disagreed with me, Mike, but I think you're absolutely right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Jason in McKinney, you're on WBAP.
Hey, James, how you feeling, man?
Fantastic.
All right. Hey, man, look here. I can remember back since I was a kid, it's like the weather changing. There was a time it was the Doberman Pinschers that were the bad guys and the German Shepherds. But the thing about these pit bulls, if they're trained to fight or trained to attack, they're really good at it. And to the people who would like to see the eradication of the species, if we could do the research and come to find out that the pit bull is the most attacky and the most bitey of all of the dogs, and we all as a society vote to eradicate this species, well, then just the next runner-up is now the most attacky and bitey. But as far as a responsibility, yes, you are absolutely responsible for what your dog does, just like all the other responsibilities that you have with owning any animal. But I don't know where, like, say, your dog's brain jumps off one day and a thing goes ignorant and kills a couple of people. I don't think you get the death penalty or you do life in prison. I may be wrong. I don't know where the line is on this.
Yeah, so the line would be pretty easy in my book. If you let the dog out and you let the dog run free in a dog park and it goes crazy and kills somebody, that's murder. Now, if you can show that you had this dog that was locked up and it was in a reinforced fence and it also had like an electric fence and you had all these security things and it had to fail, it had to go through several failures of your attempt to stop it and it still got out and killed somebody, that would be manslaughter. That's how I think. If you were negligently letting the dog run free, it's murder. If the dog had to escape and somehow get through your very valid attempts to keep the people around you safe, then that's not on you anymore. That's just a dog that got out of control. And so that in my mind is manslaughter. Again, I have no legal training, so I'm just popping off the top of my head, but that's all I got. I'm just some hick from East Texas, and baseless speculation is my game, sir.
Well, yeah, okay, I'll go along with you on that. And, call me irresponsible, I suppose. Ever since I was a kid, I grew up out in the country, and everybody let their dogs run free. And I've still got one that does run free. He never has hurt anybody. When someone approaches the house, he acts like he would. And so maybe I'm just irresponsible as hell here,
right.
But he runs free because I want my dog to be able to be a dog,
Yeah, farm dogs, totally different story. We do not have this problem in the country at all. Plus, if you get attacked by a dog, you usually have a gun or something you can shoot it with. You'll be fine. Thank you for your call. That's Jason and McKinney. Hey, come by and say hi. The James Show is going to be broadcasting live from the Texas State Fair on Thursday and Friday next to the Old Mill. So if you're already going to be out there, I would love to meet you. Stick around. Mark Levin's coming up next. I'm about to get off of here. I'm going to go to opening night at the Stars game. Yeah, hockey's back. All right. In the meantime, go check out the James Show podcast. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.